on Salam Media. Okay, I'm playing around with the volume plugs here on my side. The volume is very low. On the controller's side, Abdul Salam is saying that I'm very, very loud. So I'm sure he will try and fix that. And let's get the show on the road in the meantime, because Dr. Breakfast is standing by to talk with us on, I don't know how you're going to view it. Is this a serious allegation? Or is it something that once again is just going to be swept under the carpet? And what proof do we have, and what sort of proof do we require to, in fact, suggest that this is serious and there was a lot of shenanigans going on at the 55th ANC electoral conference? We understand that there was accusations that Ramaphosa, Gwede Mantashe, and Bejani Chauke have been accused of vote buying during this conference earlier this month. An ANC member from KZN, someone known as T. Leche, has written a scathing letter to the ANC electoral chairperson, Kgalema Motlanthe, accusing the incumbent leadership of buying votes at the NASREC conference. A very good morning to you, political analyst Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast. What do you make of this? Is this something to be taken seriously, or is it post the elections, post the electoral committee, and bearing in mind that the person making these accusations is in fact an ANC member himself, but of course we do know that there is a lot of factionalism within the ANC itself, so he could be part of the other faction. Welcome. Your thoughts on the matter?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me. I think your guess is as good as mine. I'm also in the dark, grappling with the same questions that you are grappling with. Suffice to say, I think the burden of proof, rests with the person who's making the allegation. At the moment, I've not heard or come across any substantive evidence in that regard. But to me, this strikes me as sour grapes, because in a democracy, when you are participating in political competition, there must be losers and winners, and the losers must accept that they've lost. It's part of a democracy. You cannot throw cold water into the electoral outcomes, largely because you've got a broken heart. Things did not go according to plan. So, casting aspersions on the process, given the fact that they have accepted the outcomes in the beginning when the results were unveiled, I think it begs the question about the credibility of the allegation. I'm not taken aback, though, by the turn of events. I think I saw it coming. You must remember, it's hard to accept the status quo now for the forces of RAT, because at some point they were at the helm of power. These people, they were in power at some point, and losing power has a lot of political implications. It means that they are no longer having access to economic resources through the state. It means that there is no political protection anymore. So they will try their level best to fight back. I'm not saying that the other faction is holy. It does have weaknesses. No wonder, for instance, Msholozi himself instituted those private legal charges. So you can see that they are going on the offensive. But I know that the guy who's alleged to have written the letter has distanced himself from having written that letter.
Okay, so now he's distanced himself. Perhaps some troublemaker, someone else used his name and tried to create a lot of problems. Let's just suppose, and I hear you loudly and clearly talking about sour grapes, the process has been done and dusted. let's just assume we're going to take a worst case scenario and assume that there is proof. Somebody comes forward and indicates that they have the proof to suggest that there was shenanigans, there was in fact vote buying. They can show us financial records indicating that. What do you suppose would then happen if something like that did come to light?
There is something of the sort. I mean, I don't think that people who are doing that, they would deposit money in a person's a bank account because they know that there will be proof. I presume that normally people, they carry cash, and hand over the money to the person who's going to vote. I think that's how it's done. But my view is that, and again, I'm not condoning what is alleged to have happened. But my view is that throughout history, there has never been any president of the ANC, let's say for argument's sake, since 1991, who has ever risen to power without using money. Because capital or the business community has a strategic interest in the ANC. It will pop out money. But now things have been made difficult by the Electoral Act. What is it called? The act that demands that politicians have to lay bare who is funding them and so on. So there must be a transparency and so on. But the issue of vote buying has always been part of the political culture of the ANC. But I think what they're talking about is the issue of a transparency. But if there is evidence of that sort, then the issue will play itself out in the court of law. But I think, in my opinion, there are those who want to commit what I call the seizure of power, who want to discredit the current leadership. And I don't think that what has happened by accident. I think it happened by design. I think it's part of the fight back strategy. But yeah, I mean, let's see how it goes.
So, Dr. Breakfast, I'm sure you are aware, as we all have been in the media as well, that pre the conference, there was a lot of talk about brown envelopes exchanging hands, alluding to the fact that there's going to be vote buying. So it's exactly what you have actually said right now. And I guess it's possibly not a phenomenon that is unique to South Africa. These sort of practices are in operation all around the world during election time, pre and post election, because as you've also indicated, business interests, large corporates, etc., need to have their interests protected. And this is one of the ways of them going about protecting their interests, making certain that the right people are in power, because whatever their interests in the country are will then resume and be protected.
Yeah, I think it is practically impossible from my standpoint to ascend to power without using money. That is not possible. Because, for instance, if you want to go to Mpumalanga, you are in Cape Town, you have to catch a flight. You know what I mean? If you want to travel throughout the length and the breadth of the country, you have to have money. So you cannot win an election by having a good message. You have to have money. But I think what we are saying is that there must be a transparency. One has to showcase how the campaign was financed and so. But the issue of using money is very important in how one campaigns. But yeah, I mean, the only concern that I have is that sometimes within the context of the ANC, when we talk about vote buying, we tend to be one-sided, as if the other camp doesn't do that. I don't believe that they don't do that. I think it's in the nature of the organizational culture of the ANC to use money.
Okay, I do have more questions coming your way, but please can I ask you to just give us a minute or two to pay the rent? We'll be back with you in a minute.
Okay.
Thank you.
Boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. أو كيف السبيل.
Humanity sets the agenda.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Once again, winter has made itself known in the Syrian and Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon as well as Afghanistan. Thousands are left to face this bitterly cold season of rain, flooding and snowy conditions. Africa Muslims agencies on the ground empowering families with winter rescue kits. Assist and sponsor a winter rescue kit for only 3,500 rand per family. Call Africa Muslims Agency now on 011 834 8685 or donate at Africa Muslims Agency.co.za. Africa Muslims Agency, commemorating 35 years of empowering, educating, inspiring.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
When winter comes, it's more than just cold. For millions of refugees, displaced persons, flood-affected families, and impoverished households, winter is a question of survival. That's why the Al-Imdad Foundation is reaching out to deliver winter aid to struggling communities in 14 countries across the globe. Help spread the warmth today by sponsoring a winter pack for 600 Rand. Donate online at www.alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
The time is exactly 8:20 a.m. This is News and Views on Salam Media. Before we carry on, welcome back to you, Dr. Nsikilelo Breakfast. We do have a comment on Facebook from by Neston Nimach. It's quite a long comment. Let me read it out to you. He says, "You're right, money is handed over or deals are made, but we all know that these votes have been bought and this corruption will continue to happen in front of our eyes. What is one going to do about this corruption? Because it's clear, it's in clear view and people are coming out live on TV to bring out the corruption on what is happening under the table. What are we going to do about this? Because you all talk, but no action. Country is doomed." Thank you to you, Nestor Nimach, for your comments. Dr. Breakfast, would you like to respond to that?
Yes, of course. As I indicated to you earlier on, the burden of proof rests with the person who's making the allegation. If someone has evidence, then one can bring that to the fore. You can report that to the, the Electoral commission of the ANC. One can report that to the nearest police station. There are many ways and means of laying bare that kind of information. But what I'm critical of is this thing of casting aspersions on the electoral outcomes, largely because things did not go according to plan. And therefore, you try to discredit those who have emerged as victors. That's why I said in the beginning, it's sour grapes as it stands, unless there is substantive evidence to cement that allegation.
Okay, this very same person who has distanced himself from these allegations, Mr. Mantashe, said that the ANC chairperson, Gwede Mantashe, claimed in a televised interview on ENCA that he and Cyril Ramaphosa were aware of vote buying attempts. And in light of that, the Electoral Committee, said that they're going to be requesting financial disclosures from all its members who were contesting for a leadership position at the party's latest national conference. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, I'm not a spokesperson of the ANC. I'm not trying to be funny, but what I'm trying to say is that I know in the beginning, before the announcement was made or in the build-up to the conference, the Electoral Commission did demand bank statements from the contenders. And the ANC did disclose that the presidential contenders, I know that Dr. Mkhize also submitted his, but at the 11th hour, but he did do that. Even Ramaphosa did that. So I think that matter, in my view, is out of the way now. But if I mean, people, they demand the stuff to be submitted again, I think that is fine. But I'm just cautious of, people wanting to cast aspersions on the process because they did not win.
Yeah, and again, like you had mentioned at the start of the program, if there has been vote buying, people are not going to, it's not going to go into via an EFT. We're talking about brown envelopes here. No one's going to declare that money. So either way, we can't for definite say that there was, in fact, or there wasn't any vote buying. We don't have the solid proof to, in fact, support that claim. Let's move on then from that matter. And I'm wondering, whilst I have you online, if you will indulge me by responding to the issue around the private prosecution by Zuma to Ramaphosa. This seems to be going on. Let's understand why Zuma is so hell-bent in going ahead with this prosecution. That's number one. And then number two, is it going to make a difference? And what's it costing us as taxpayers? This is really about a waste of taxpayers' money. Somebody somewhere has to put their foot down and perhaps advise Zuma that if this is the route he wants to go, if he's so persistent on this issue, then he needs to pay for it out of his own pocket. There's so much other, there's so many other issues that need to be addressed in the country rather than waste of taxpayers' money. And we're talking hundreds of millions of rands as far as these cases are concerned.
Well, first of all, former President Zuma is one of my favorite politicians. I like his strategies, not all of them, because he's got a strong security background. As you know, he was heading the intelligence of the ANC. But in this regard, I don't agree with his strategy of going on the offensive. Even what he did at the conference on the first day, when he staged a walk-in while Ramaphosa was on the podium. I think that was unnecessary. It was immature. Of all people, you don't expect that from a person who was the head of state. But anyway, be that as it may, I think the approach that he is employing is misguided because he's giving an impression that he is on the offensive. He has an issue with Ramaphosa, because now people are also going to sympathize with Ramaphosa and even question the rationale behind the Phala Phala allegation. I mean, he has been going up and down, while campaigning to be the chairman of the ANC, attacking Ramaphosa. I'm not saying that Ramaphosa must not be criticized. I'm just saying that the way he is lambasting him, I think he is making Ramaphosa to have more sympathizers and making himself to be seen to be problematic. Because I mean, I don't understand what is the basis of instituting private prosecution. To me, he comes across as a person who is hell-bent to dislodge Ramaphosa from power, because Ramaphosa doesn't give him political accommodation. So I get the sense that he's looking for political protection. No wonder in the beginning he preferred his ex-wife to be the presidential contender, because he thinks that he can find comfort in that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so much more to unpack, but we have run out of time. I'll just read out another Facebook comment by Siabongo Kaluza, and then you can respond to that, and that's where we'd have to leave it. Siabonga is saying this is happening for the second time. I remember CR17 campaign was centered around buying votes and undisclosed funders. The matter at court was dismissed. What is going to change now with 2022? Dr. Breakfast.
In the beginning also, it was reported that Ramaphosa bought the conference he won by using money, but that has never been proven, beyond reason. But even in that regard, that argument was one-sided, because it focused, because Ramaphosa was not contesting by himself, he was contesting with someone. So you see, so it could have been good even then to say, but what about the other contender? How much did she use? And then you allow people to assess what had happened.
Okay, and that's where we leave it. Always wonderful getting an analysis from you, Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast, regarding political here in our country. I do hope to talk with you again sometime in the new year. And you keep safe, and a very prosperous new year to you and your loved ones.
Yeah, all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 8:29 News and Views on Salam Media. Standing by to talk to us is founder of Protect the Rohingya, and that is Advocate Shabnam Mayat.